Hey friends, welcome. I'm Patrina with Homegrown Florida. Today we're going to be hanging out with the pantry for a little bit to try to pick out some foods and some convenience items that I can take with me on my trip. If you haven't heard, I am actually going on an RV trip. It's going to be for a couple months, so we're going to be away for a while. And we like to eat as healthy as possible, homegrown, homemade, less processed, those kinds of things to keep our health up, even while we're traveling. And that can be a little bit of a challenge because we have some unique situations when we're traveling. Like number one, we are in an RV that is 150 square feet. We don't have a lot of space. So we really have to fit the right foods in the right amount of space. It also means that I don't have very many of my little kitchen tools, right? So I have a stove that is my main cooking. Like my oven works, but it's not a great oven. Like anybody who's had an RV knows that these things aren't worth much. So you have to really kind of pick and choose what you're going to bring with you based on, its size, whether it needs to be refrigerated or not, and what you need in order to cook with it. I know, super complicated, but I'm trying to make it easier. Last night I sat down and I said, you know what? I'm going to come out with a meal plan. And I'll put this up so you guys can see it. I actually drafted out every single week of the couple of months that we're going to be gone. And I put down breakfast items, lunch items, dinner items, and snacks. And for each one, I actually had a column that basically said, I went through my pantry and I was like, what do I have that I can use to inspire breakfast items? So we're going to pick out the stuff today, and then I'll share with you what's on my plan to be able to cook as many homemade meals as possible with as much homegrown veggies and fruits as possible. That's actually still convenient. I know, it's a big challenge. So let's start out with breakfast first. I basically went through here and I kind of looked at what I had a lot of, and I have a lot of fruit and I have a lot of eggs. And so fruit wise, I have all these jams. So I have strawberry, peach, mulberry, blackberry, I forgot that, and cranberry. Cranberry is going to be more, I think, for dinners and not necessarily breakfast. But for the jams, I think I'm going to go with the blackberry and the mulberry. The reason why I like these two best is because they're jams and not jellies. And jellies are great, right? If you're going to put them on toast or English muffins, that's great. But jams you can do more with. So jams you can use in baking products. You can make like muffins with them. You can make oatmeal bars, and that's actually what's on my list. I'm making, let's see here, we're going to just do some scrambled eggs with, toast, some chai pudding with the jam. And the reason why I like the jam is because it actually has pieces of the fruit, where jelly doesn't have pieces of the fruit. It's just, juice that has been made into like a thick gelatin, kind of like Jell-O. But then like French toast stuffed with jam, jam with pancakes, so you mix pancake batter and then you add some jam to it, and it has fruit in it. The oatmeal bars, I have a bunch of stuff. Oatmeal, you can put jam in oatmeal and you kind of get that fruit texture, whereas jelly, if you were to heat it up, it just kind of turns into a liquid again. This stuff actually has pieces of the fruit. So we're going to go with mulberry and blackberry. I wish I had peach jam. I don't think I do. I think I just have peach jelly. Yeah, I only have peach jelly. So the reason why I was like, oh, I hope I have peach jelly is because, or peach jam, is because mulberries and blackberries kind of have a similar taste profile. The blackberries are a little more sour, a little more tart, whereas the mulberries are more sweet, kind of raspberry-ish, but we're essentially talking about the same thing. And I was like, oh, I wish I had peach jam where it has the peaches of the pieces of the peaches. But I don't. But what I do have is peach pie filling. And I think this would be exceptional. So I have peach pie filling. And then I also have these I got last year. See, now we're talking. Now we're talking about different things, right? So peach pie filling. I'm also going to do a mulberry pie filling. Where's that at? Right here. Some mulberry pie filling, some peach pie filling. And I got this from Baker's Creek during our last RV trip. And it is a cherry almond jam, which I'm like, oh, that I can see that in oatmeal. I can see that in oatmeal bars. Like, I can get into this. Okay, so we have our jams. Let me see what else we want for breakfast. We have our jams, we have our pie filling. Oh yeah, we can't forget freeze-dried stuff. Here I have freeze-dried strawberries. All you do is add water and you basically have fresh strawberries again. This is also really good in things like we're gonna make yogurt parfaits, maybe even the chai pudding, put some jam in it, put some of the fruit on top. So we've got that. Another one that I wanted to do right here are the powders. So I don't have very much strawberry powders, but I have banana powder. And so if I add the freeze-dried strawberries with the freeze-dried banana powder, I can make smoothies, right? So a little bit of milk, a little bit of the strawberries, a little bit of the banana powder, blend it up in my little bullet blender, and that's breakfast right there. Okay, the last one we need is up top, and that's gonna be eggs, specifically raw eggs. So each one of these Mylar bags is 30 raw eggs. 30, y'all. Like, this is gonna be plenty. Let's think, 30 eggs, 2 people, 15 eggs. Probably need 2 bags of these. Just in case. We might not eat them all, but having 2 bags of 30 eggs, which would be 60 eggs. So I can do all kinds of things. I can't do things like hard-boiled eggs, but I can definitely do anything that's scrambled. So fried rice has some scrambled eggs in it. I can do regular scrambled eggs. To me, they taste exactly the same. When you rehydrate these 1-to-1 ratio and you cook them up, because these are raw. I don't cook my eggs and then put them in the freeze dryer. I crack them, blend them up, and then stick them in the freeze dryer. So these are raw eggs. You can't eat them raw. But some people do, and cookie dough. I can make cookies with them. I can do anything that you can do scrambled eggs with, or raw eggs that are scrambled. I hope that makes sense, because they're not cooked scrambled eggs. They are raw scrambled eggs. So no hard-boiled egg situations or anything like that, but anything that is scrambled eggs. So I want to make English muffin sandwiches. So I can take these, add some water to it, scramble them up into like an omelet, cut the omelet into like squares and put them on English muffins. That's perfect. And then probably the last thing that I want to do for breakfast is going to be my dry goods. This is the oatmeal that I make from scratch. So I add basically old-fashioned oats, some dried fruit. Right now I'm using raisins, but I've used like mangoes and apples before. Those are really good. And then nuts. I prefer pecans or walnuts. Those are my favorite, but you can use pretty much any nut, almonds, cashews, whatever. And then you just mix it up. You can add some brown sugar in there if you want, but usually what we do is when we make this, we will pour a little bit of maple syrup in there, and that kind of gives the oatmeal the sweetness. So I need some dry ingredients to do this, like oats. I'm also going to need some flour for some of the things like the pancakes, and then I need some nuts. Oh, and then the dried fruit. Let me get that. So I'm going to go with the raisins. I think that's going to be my primary, is raisins. I could bring more dried fruit because I have some like tropical dried fruits, but I'm trying to keep it as minimal as possible. So let's put it in here. I really don't know why I was doing that on the floor before. Let's try it on this table. So we're going to pour some flour in my containers. And I'm just picking all-purpose flour here. I could go with bread flour, but honestly, I'm not going to be making like a bunch of bread products. I'm going to be making pancakes and, maybe waffles and some oatmeal bars. So I'm just taking it out of my bulk container and pouring it into my, my to-go container. I prefer glass, but glass doesn't do well in a travel trailer because the whole ground shakes every time you're driving down the road, and glass just breaks super, super easy. So I'm going to go with these plastic containers. I used them last year and they worked really, really well. All right, so we got our flour. Next is going to be our oats. We can make oatmeal. We can make oatmeal bars. We can make muffins. Because we have the raisins, we can make oatmeal raisin cookies. And I forgot, we're going to grab some nuts. I think I'm going to go with pecans. So those are excellent additions to all of the things I just mentioned. I'm going to do pecans. And these are chopped. I like walnuts just as much, but I feel like pecans have don't know, almost like a sweeter taste to them. So we're gonna go with that for breakfast. So now let me show you everything that we have all together. We have our eggs, we have our jams, our jellies, our pie fillings, our banana powder, our freeze-dried strawberries, our raisins, our pecans, some flour, and some oatmeal. So that gives us jam for toast, scrambled egg, jam for chai pudding, stuff for our English muffins. Let's see here. Different kinds of pancakes, different kinds of oatmeal bars, smoothies, hash. We'll talk about that in a minute. There's a few things on here that you're probably like, well, what are you gonna do for the toast? So I actually did go ahead and I'm not gonna be baking bread on the road. It's a complicated process. I have not a lot of counter space. I mentioned earlier, my oven in my RV is very small, and by small I mean like short. So I can't bake things that rise. So what I did is I did a baking day a couple days ago. I made like a quadruple recipe of English muffins. I made a double recipe of naan bread. I made 2 artisan sourdough loaves, cut those up into slices. So I have all of that in the freezer. We'll be able to take that with us. For things like the meat items, like, you know, if we want bacon or sausage on our sandwiches, like our English muffin sandwiches, or cheese, that is something we're gonna have to buy. Now I am focused on just a couple meat items. We're gonna go ahead and jump to dinner. We're gonna skip lunch for a moment. We'll get back to it because I mix lunch with snacks because that's how we eat. So we'll talk dinner first. But for, you know, these items that require meat, cheeses, dairy, we're gonna have to keep that in our refrigerator. Our RV refrigerator is small, so we are focused on limiting what we're going to include. So things like meat-wise, we're really focused on 2 meats. We're gonna do chicken breast and ground beef. That's it. Ground beef, you can lay flat and freeze it, works really well. Chicken breast, you can, if you get like the organic chicken breasts, they're rather thin. But if you get like the regular ones, you can cut them lengthwise and they'll lay more flat. And so we get the best freezer space. Bacon lays pretty flat already. We'll probably stick to bacon and not do sausage, honestly. That's what I'm thinking, because sausage takes up space. They're like rolls. So I probably won't do that. I'll probably just stick with bacon. We are gonna be on the road during the holidays. So there are gonna be instances we will stop at grocery stores and pick up something more holiday traditional. Like I think I'm gonna get some ham slices, maybe a turkey breast, obviously not a whole turkey because my oven can't handle that. But like if you just get the turkey breast, you can what is it called? Spatchcock? Spatchcock? I think that's what it's called. Where you basically break the rib bone and lay it flat. And you can cook it that way. So we'll get the taste of turkey without having to do a whole turkey, or we get the taste of ham by just getting a ham slice versus a whole ham. So that's gonna be kind of our focus when it comes to dinner. So for dinner, I'm gonna be focused a lot on my canned vegetables, my canned sauces like spaghetti sauces, beans. That's another really good protein source for us. We love our Puerto Rican black beans, and I've canned a bunch of them. So I went through and I canned, I think, 8 jars of this. We also have a lot of our soups. So this one is a minestrone soup. And then I have a chicken and vegetable soup. You can do a lot of things with this, right? So you can do just chicken and vegetables. You can do chicken noodle soup. You can do chicken and rice. You can put this in pasta dishes where, you know, the vegetables and the chicken make up, you know, the meat and the vegetable component, and then add cream and all kinds of stuff. You can do fun stuff. I'm also going to be bringing some canned chicken. We are going to carry chicken in our freezer, but I have some canned chicken. I want to use it up, so we will do that. I have a bunch of chili that I made that for some reason we haven't dug into yet. I don't really know why. I think we opened 1 jar and then we have the rest of them, I think, which is like 11. So we're gonna be killing some chili. I also have a bunch of frozen veggies. So I have frozen greens, frozen peppers, frozen onions, frozen tomatoes. I think I have some green beans. I have some peas. That's all in the freezer. We're gonna get that out and we're gonna take that into the freezer of the RV. And then last but not least, I did a video not too long ago about freeze-dried whole meals. So things like spaghetti and meat sauce, chicken and dumplings. I did unstuffed peppers, rice and beans, and then I did one more. What was the other one? The last one was a chicken noodle soup. I probably am not going to bring that one because we are going to go through the canned stuff first. Canned stuff doesn't last as long as freeze-dried stuff. Freeze-dried stuff lasts like 30 years. It's crazy. So we're going to get that stuff down from there and get these canned goods out of here. So these are our whole meal freeze-dried. We have, oh, this is, I forgot I made this. It's a chili, steak, and beans. We're not going to do this one because I have a bunch of canned chili that I need to get used. So we're going to save this. We are going to get, oh yeah, mashed potatoes. I made these. They have the butter and the milk already in them, so it's just add water. Okay, here's our chicken and dumplings. We're going to take that with us. The unstuffed peppers, and we're going to take one of the spaghetti and meat sauce. I'm bringing pasta sauce with us, so I'm kind of debating. Yeah, I'm going to bring this just because I want to try it. But I have pasta sauce, and I'm going to bring pasta, so I want to try this. Since we have plenty of canned beans, we're not going to bring those, but we are going to bring some rice. The rice I can do all kinds of things with, and I'm sticking with a white rice. I prefer wild or brown rice, but white rice cooks faster, okay? I didn't mention this before, but when we RV, we go off grid a lot. So we don't always have electricity. We do have propane, but cooking, you know, wild rice or brown rice for 45 minutes on a propane, you're burning up a lot of propane. So having white rice that I can cook on a fire or with our propane, and it's only like 20 minutes, I'm gonna go with this. Not as healthy, not as nutritious, but still talking homemade. And I can add beans to this. I can make a rice pudding for breakfast or even for dessert, add a little bit of sugar, add a little bit of our raisins. That would be fun. Let's look at our list, see what else we need. So for dinner, we have roasted chicken and carrots. We have our carrots. The chicken will be in the freezer. Ground beef with potatoes and carrots. We'll use the carrots again. And then potatoes, I have some. Mostly I have sweet potatoes right now. So we'll probably end up using mostly sweet potatoes. Stuffed chicken with sun-dried tomatoes and cheese. I have sun-dried tomatoes that I made that are dried. They're actually in the fridge. I don't know why. I like them cold. We can do hamburgers and french fries with our potatoes and hamburgers. Veggie tortellini soup, which I love. We can use our chicken noodle soup. Put some tortellinis and some of our frozen greens in there. That's really, really good. Beef tacos. I can make, you know, soft shell tacos out of my flour. And then the beef with the ground beef. Tuna noodle casserole. We are going to be bringing another protein source, which is canned tuna and canned chicken. We just really love canned tuna and canned chicken, so we'll be bringing that. We have some noodles. I have different kinds of pastas. I'm like the pasta queen. I have so many pastas, but I'm only going to be bringing two types. I'm probably just going to be bringing elbows and the egg noodles, because the egg noodles can be used in the chicken noodle soup. It can be used in the tuna noodle casserole. I can make like a beef tetrazzini or a turkey tetrazzini with whatever we have left over from our holiday meal. So that egg noodles are good for that. The rest of it will probably end up being elbows. Other dinners, you know, all the freeze-dried stuff. A lemon, garlic, spinach, chicken with pasta. That's just the chicken. The pasta are frozen greens. I have frozen garlic. Lemons would be the only thing I'd have to add there. I have to get lemon juice, a small container. Sweet and sour chicken. We can use sugar. We can use anything sour. I probably end up going with like the blackberry jam. Maybe some, I don't know, chili. Like the sweet chili sauce, that would be good with that. I'm bouncing around, I apologize. But I'm just kind of going through this, just making sure that I hit everything. Ooh, I forgot something. Now this is not typical for dinners, but cranberry sauce. We are gonna be gone during the holidays, and I do wanna make that turkey and that ham meal. So I need some cranberry sauce, and I'm only gonna bring one jar. Can't believe I almost forgot that. That'd be awful, that'd be heartbreaking. I love my cranberry sauce. What else do we have here? All kinds of meals. Greek chicken, pita with tzatziki. I can use my naan bread that I made instead of pitas and use that as the pita. And then Greek chicken is just spices with chicken. The tzatziki sauce is cucumbers with sour cream. Loaded mashed potatoes, so I can take our freeze-dried mashed potatoes and I can add cheese, bacon, which we will have. We'll have the bacon for our breakfast. I'm going to be bringing cheese, probably just one type. I'm probably just bringing cheddar, a block of it, and I can shred it myself, or I can leave it as slices for sandwiches. Meatloaf and mashed potatoes, a Boursin pasta pesto bake. Oh, sounds so good. I have pesto in the freezer along with my frozen garlic, so that should be good. Oh, bean, beef, and chili quesadillas. That sounds exceptional. So I can make the quesadillas, or I can use my naan bread as kind of like a fake as a fake tortilla. And I can just put ground beef and our canned beans with some of our frozen peppers. And that'll make a great meal. Here's our holiday week, the turkey breast with stuffing and cranberry sauce. I'll probably buy the stuffing. You can buy like the cubes of bread, or you know what, I can use, at that point, we're gonna be towards the end of our trip. So I can actually take the sourdough bread that I have in the freezer, set it out on the counter overnight, chop it up, and then all I have to do is herbs and our chicken broth that I have right here, and that's it. I can make that whole thing without doing anything. Actually, that's pretty cool. Then the next day, because we might have leftover turkey, we're gonna do a turkey panini with cranberry sauce. So take the turkey, some of our sourdough bread, put some cranberry sauce on it, and then just like put it on the fire and put like a cast iron pan on either side. So that way it gets squished. Oh, that would be so good. I'm getting hungry just talking about this. Okay, I think we got everything, minus the stuff I need to get out of the freezer, like the meats and the frozen veggies that we have. So the last meals that we need to focus on are lunches and snacks. And I kind of put these together. So most of our lunches are going to be different kinds of salad. So I thought like tuna salads, chicken salads on bread, or we can do taco salads with our ground beef. We are gonna have to purchase like the salad stuff. I do have some lettuce that we can take with us, but that's not gonna last us long. That's probably a week or two. Different kinds of sandwiches. We can do grilled cheese. We can do different kinds of soups. So I have a bunch of Seminole pumpkins, so I can roast those in I have like a, what is that called? I have one of those cast iron like pots that you can put in the fire. So I can take that and put some of my Seminole pumpkins in there and let them roast for like an hour one night while we're, having a fire, in the cooler weather. So I can do that, and I can make like a pumpkin soup. I can make pumpkin raviolis and pasta and all kinds of stuff with that. And then, like I said, sandwiches, we'll do cheese sandwiches. We'll do, oh yeah, chili mac. That would be fun on a cold day. Chili and salad, Cobb sandwiches, chili sloppy joes. So we're gonna be using up that chili. We're gonna do chicken Caesar wraps. I can take the canned chicken. I can use the naan bread to make my wraps. Veggie pasta salads. We can take our elbow macaroni with whatever vegetables that we purchase along the way. We can do egg salad sandwiches. Almost forgot of that. Freeze-dried eggs. We can make scrambled eggs and do like an egg salad sandwich. BLTs with our bacon and our sourdough bread. We'll just have to buy tomatoes. We can do a lot of that. Now, other snacks, let's do chips and salsa. So we have our salsa. We'll get more chips. We're gonna do pickles. We're a big pickle family, so we're gonna take some pickles. Let's see here, some pickled beets. My husband is a big fan of pickled beets. Not so much. I like them fresh. We're gonna have the raisins. We're gonna have the freeze-dried fruit. We're gonna have some, let's bring some dehydrated fruit. This is my other dehydrated fruit. I was kind of debating back and forth whether to bring this or not. I think I'm going to, because this is a good little snack. Let's see how much room we have. I feel like I'm getting kind of full in the pantry area, so we'll see. If I have room, I will bring that. And then almond butter. We have almonds down there that I make into almond butter, so I'll do a big batch before we leave, and we can buy apples and dip our apples in our almond butter. Cucumber, tomato, onion salads. We're gonna be buying a lot of salad ingredients, so we'll use those ingredients to make the tomato, cucumber, onion salad. I do have some onions left in the pantry. They're starting to sprout, so I don't think they're gonna last very much longer, but I might be able to push them a little bit further. And then, trail mix, I can make that ourselves. I can use our raisins with our pecans. Maybe I'll bring in some almonds too. The more you think about it, the more you're like, oh, maybe I could bring this ingredient, or maybe I could bring that ingredient, but I'm running short on space. So I really gotta focus on bringing just the items on my list and not kind of get wild about it. And we're gonna have to stick to that. We are always within an hour or two of a grocery store, so we can always stop and get things, but I do like to have as much on hand as possible so that way we can make our homemade meals, but that it's also convenient and we don't have to buy a lot while we're on the road. We'll be buying a lot of our fresh stuff, so our dairy, our cheeses, our salad ingredients, any raw vegetables that we need, that we're all gonna have to purchase. Unfortunately, when the hurricane came through, it took out a lot of my plants. And things like lettuce, I am growing inside and I do have an overabundance of it right now, but we'll eat through that lettuce within like 1 to 2 weeks tops, and then we'll be out. And I don't want to eat just canned food, so we will purchase that. But it is still pretty convenient. You can buy a head of lettuce and chop it up and stick it in the fridge. So that's not, you know, super difficult. And then picking up some tomatoes and some cucumbers along the way. So I think we've got everything. We've got our breakfasts, we've got our dinners, we have lunches. You know, we're gonna do a lot of soups, salads, and sandwiches. And then we have our snacks, like our fruit, raw vegetables that we're gonna buy. Yeah, I think we're all set. I got most everything. I just gotta pull a couple things out of the freezer, and then everything needs to go in the RV kitchen. If you have some ideas of how you meal prep with limited items while still getting home cooked meals, head down to the comments and leave me a note. I love hearing other people's recipes. While I'm traveling, I will definitely be updating my Instagram and Facebook stories to show you some of the meals that we're making, including how the freeze-dried meals turn out. Make sure to follow me over there so you can get the daily updates. Thanks so much for hanging out with me while we dug through the pantry today, getting ready for the trip. Happy gardening? Happy pantry? Happy preserving? I don't know. Have a happy day, you guys.